Hey everybody, Hunter 1930's original fan collector, etc. Back with my video today. I know this is a little late for the live stream, but this is probably the last StreamYard live stream before I go to Florida. So yeah, as well. I'm gonna delete the Let's Talk number 2, maybe delete. I don't know until when I get back to Florida, I guess. But you never know. But yeah, for me to delay something, I guess that's something I have to do. But yeah, I thought I'd do it like one of my last streams before I go back to Florida for StreamYard, but yeah, it's not something I usually talk about, but I guess it's kind of let's do something about it. But I usually just felt like let's just get it done. I kind of feel bad for holding you off a little bit because I've been really busy. I've been taking care of things at the YMCA. It's been crazy for me. Everything's been crazy. It's not the same. So yeah, I'm just kind of tired. Plus, also there will be more videos coming up in Vegas because I'm staying in Vegas for 2 days. So, and also my uncle has got new fans for his house, and he wants me to install them. And after I install them, we'll be having some videos of them. Unfortunately, they're not Gulf Coast rain dances that I was hoping for, but he just wanted an inexpensive fan, so they're Hampton Bays, I know that, but I mean, they're not the worst thing out there, but I mean, there could be far yet worse things out there. And yeah, I know Hampton Bays came out with the gazebo before, but however, we decided no, we're not going with the gazebo 4. I honestly hate the gazebos 4 looks. I prefer the gazebo 3 over the gazebo 4 any day. I absolutely despise the gazebo 4. But the gazebo 3 I think looks nicer. Which, honestly, if you don't blame me for not liking the gazebo 4, I honestly think the proportions is like Bayfield, and it kind of reminds me of the Bayfield a little bit combined with some other, Hampton Bay. It's very, very, I don't like it. like, for me, it's too bland, boring. But the gazebo 3, some people think it is bland and boring. Honestly, think it's not the most bland and boring because I've seen worse. Honestly, think this is worse looking. Look at that. It just doesn't fit. Like, literally, it doesn't really fit. YouTube Shorts, I like making it because it gets a lot of views. But yeah, I literally don't like the gazebo 4. I like the gazebo 3 and 2 and 1. But I'm actually starting to grow to like the gazebo 3, surprisingly. Despite it not being the best Hampton Bay, but honestly, this is a lot more ugly. I honestly don't like this. I absolutely don't like the how it looks. The gazebo 4. I mean, it doesn't really fit the irons. And if you're gonna make a gazebo 4, at least just don't really change too much with the gazebo 3 a little bit. Just keep the irons and all that stuff, except for just make the fan a remote fan. I guess that's the only thing if you're gonna do a gazebo 4. But honestly, I don't like the gazebo 4 because this doesn't really fit my style. It really doesn't. But the gazebo 3, I don't hate it. It's not my favorite. But I mean, I prefer the gazebo 3 over this. And trust me, I honestly like this better. I mean, if you look at this looks like a decent product. And I mean, the housing proportions fit better. Yeah, if you look closely at that. And yeah, if you're gonna design something, don't make too many changes on some things. But honestly, it wasn't broken. Nothing was broken with the gazebo 3. Honestly, why make these changes and make it uglier? It just doesn't really fit. Well, I tested the gazebo 3 in person and it wasn't terrible, but it was just not my favorite look of all things. But the gazebo 4, give me a break. I just don't like this look at all. And let's see the specifications for it. Little bit worse than the gazebo 3, to be honest. That's a little bit underpowered, I think. And it's got the quick connect system too. I find that kind of cool, but the gazebo 3 is much better. I guarantee that. And the gazebo 2 was okay, but just tends to have capacitor issues. But the gazebo 1 was the goat of the gazebos. You know, that's one thing I have to say. When you pick a fan, you just gotta make it look nice. It's too bland and boring for me. The newest fans. I don't really have that much interest on Hampton Bay these days. I kind of lost a lot of respect for him. And honestly, I don't like the Bayfield either. I think this and the Gazebo 4 are the most ugly Hampton Bay fans of all time. I actually don't like the Bayfield at all. I absolutely hate it. And I mean, I already don't like the looks of it, too. Which, for me to say that about a fan that I don't like about it, a lot of it, is pretty hard to define. But now, knowing how much knowledgeable I am, and I know how bad these are, so I'm never going to get a Bayfield. You know, I already had better experience with the Hampton Bay Gazebo 3, which at least I found a Hampton Bay which was somewhat decent. Bear Island is also a decent one too, so. But really, you have to really make these changes. It's not something I like. Yeah. To be honest, this is just ugly. Seeing the Gazebo 4 in the Bayfield. But if I had to pick between the two, I'd give it to the Gazebo 4, to be honest, it being the top ugly. And I mean, the they took off the vents and it just feels very boring. And yeah, you can see that kind of that faceplate a little bit. Kind of reminds me of the Bayfield faceplate. And I'm like, what the? Why? Yeah, except for a little bit. This one's a little bit more steeper upwards, but I honestly hate this thing too on how it looks. Yeah, that thing's ugly. Same with the Gazebo 4. I don't like it. Honestly, those two are ugly. And I have to give it to this now. This makes the top crown. But yeah, I pretty much gotta say, it's the Hampton Bay Larson. At least that's decently looking in today's days. At least it looks decent, you know. Even though it doesn't have any vents, at least this design looks better. I prefer that. Kind of wish they still made the Larson, you know. But it's just sad. It just shows you fan designs are getting worse and worse in terms of looks for me to like it. Like Hampton Bay has been really getting ugly. But I'm not saying all Hampton Bay looks ugly because there is a lot of designs that I really liked from them back then. Like, you know, like the Quick Connect, the Reddington, the Cameron, all those OG Hampton Bays that we remembered from the early 2000s. And also the Heartland from the 80s and around there. 80s, 90s period. At least those look nice. And even the dang Landmark looked prettier. And I mean, even the Landmark looked better, to say the least. You know? It's just. And I'm like, why? Why make these changes when it's not broken? Absolutely makes no sense. Yeah, absolutely makes no sense why having to change the looks of that. The fuck the 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 Hampton Bay Gazebo 3 looks much better than the Gazebo 4. I mean, yeah, this thing looks so ugly. The Gazebo 4, absolutely hate it. Like, yeah, absolutely hate it. Yeah, some of them do, but not all. Because I did see the Hunter fans. Some of them can actually perform very, very good. I've seen it happen. But you know, just depends on how it is. But I mean, where's the pride basically in fans? Like, come on. And I mean, I tested some newer Hunter fans, and they still, yeah, I feel like they're better than some of the newer Hampton Bays by far. Not saying all Hunter fans are bad, but some of them, like the Highbury, is not so good. But that's one of their lower end Hunters. But same with the Builder Elite. But okay, moving on. Jeez, this thing really is sad, man. I was hoping, you know, it gets better. If I found something that looked nicer, yeah. At least I even had more respect for the Gazebo 3 than the Gazebo 4. You know? It's sad. It's depressing. Like, yeah, at least those look nice. But honestly, you know, you gotta have at least something to look at. The Gazebo 4 doesn't even have anything redeeming to me in terms of looks. Like, at least that looks more redeeming than Gazebo 3. Plus, it was better than the Gazebo 4. Even the Gazebo 2 performed better than the Gazebo 4. I mean, yeah, I give you that. But honestly, why? Why do you have to make it so ugly, man? It's just sad. It really is. At least the Gazebo 3 looks somewhat decent of a fan, but, you know, to say the least, that is something true. And saying something like that can be an understatement, you know? I'd rather look at it over Gazebo 4. Honestly, if you do design fans, at least make it pretty. Don't don't make it boring and such, you know? At least where's the pride, basically? You know? Not just in looks, but I mean in quality too. And I mean, it's just sad. It really is. I hoped a lot more for that. Like, come on. At least I gotta say that. Yeah, exactly. It's just sad. It's really sad. I was hoping for a lot more. Even it looked better back then. When you know it. When you know it, when you see it, you can tell it looked better. But you know, I'll never buy Gazebo 3 to be honest. It's too ugly. Even the Brookhurst looks nicer. Which I'm just saying it looks so much better. Yeah. You can tell me about it. Like, come on, people. It's so ugly. Absolutely despise it now. It's just, I'm really sad to see how it looks now, the newer stuff. It's really, really sad, man. Absolutely disappointing. Like, yeah, if you want to have something else, which I like the Gazebo 2 better than the Gazebo 4. I have seen a Gazebo 2 in white before, in person, many times. So I wouldn't say they're rare. You know, it's really sad that they designed it, made it worse looking. It's god awful to see how design just went down the trapper, basically. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I gotta say. I don't have very much else to say. I'm not gonna make the stream any longer because I am totally too disgusted to say much more. It's really sad, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna end the video here. I'm too burned out to say even more. So yeah, there you have it. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for lots more to come. Ugh.